and thank you for joining me for another 30 Ways in 30 Days video. Today we are going to focus on core again. So I did a core workout a couple of weeks ago now. That was all floor based before, and today we're going to be doing all standing core exercises. So before we get onto that, we are going to start with a quick stretch just to get our core warm and firing. Nothing too intense. So all we're going to do to start off with is just do a little side shuffle to start with. So a little boxer shuffle, just to get our body moving and everything sort of working. And then what we're going to do is just do some knee raises. So we're using our core here, and it might not feel like it, you know, people tend to think about core as like doing sit-ups and stuff, but you use your core for most movements and just keeping yourself upright. So we're just doing some slow toe touches, having to, you know, contract our core, sort of mid-core to raise that knee up, and then keep it tucked at the top for a second. Brilliant. I'm just going to stop there for a second. All we're going to do is put one hand at our head, one hand at our side, and we're just going to stretch down our side. So my hand is moving down my leg, and we're just going to do a couple of these each side. Very brief warm up today needed. Keep going. And swap sides now, so other hand at head, other hand reaching down our thigh. And we're just bending to the side, but we are warming up that side core. We're going to use that a lot today. Brilliant work. Keep stretching, keep reaching for that side. Right, leave it there. What we're going to go for next is put our hands out in front, clasped. Then we're going to reach them for the ceiling. Reach nice and tall, as if you're trying to reach the sky, reach the ceiling. Then we're just going to stretch to one side and hold there. And then we're going to stretch again, reach the other side and hold there. And release. We're going to put our hands at our hips, and we're just going to do little twists, little spinal twists. So, you know, this is a very simple warm-up, because it's not going to be too taxing today. We don't need to warm up our body quite as excessively as if we were doing a full body workout or circuits or anything like that. Brilliant. So after that, we're just going to do some side leg raises. So it'll be similar to a movement we're going to be doing later on. And we're just going to bring hands at our head and just one knee up to each elbow. So we've got these in the workout, but they're good for just warming up the core as well. Just say do 5 on each side, because we will have more of them later. When you've done that, you can rest there. So nice, easy warm up, nothing too intense, and we'll move on to the main body of the workout now. So for the main part of the workout, we've got 8 different exercises. They're all going to be standing movements, so you don't need to worry about getting down onto the floor. So you can also do them in a very small space. As you see, I'm just doing it right next to my Christmas tree, which normally isn't the best idea for indoor exercise. But we're not going to be jumping around too much with these movements, and they're all core focused. And even if they don't feel like they're maybe, you know, really fatiguing your core, they're good for core stability. So we're going to do 40 seconds on each movement, and we're going to have 20 seconds of rest. We're going to do that for every movement, and once we've done every movement through, we'll have a minute off before we go into the next round. We're aiming for 3 rounds today. All that you will need is something to add a little bit of weight to the workout. So it might be, what I'm going to demonstrate with is a tin of beans. However, this probably won't be heavy enough to feel an effect for you, or for quite a lot of people. So you might want to go with something a little bit heavier. Some people might have their own weights at home. You know, if you've got very small or light kettlebells, it'll be ideal. If you've got maybe a backpack that you can just actually put some bits in to weight that, you can use that on some of the movements that I'm going to show you. But the only weight I have in the house is a 16 kilo kettlebell, so a little bit too heavy for what we're going to be aiming for today, and that is why I'm going to be demonstrating my tin can. So we are going to start. The first movement we're going to look at is dumbbell side bend. So you're going to need a weight for this one. You're going to hold the weight down one side. You're going to put the other hand up to your head, and you're going to lean to the side that has the dumbbell, and then use your core to pull yourself back up. The way you'll normally find this is down the side of your core, so it'll be more here then across that front section. So I'm going to start the clock and then I'm going to go through the other movements when we get to them. So we've got 4 seconds. So we're going to go 40 seconds just on this one side. Nice and slow. It's not about how many reps we can get done. And like I say, this is actually probably too light for me. So I'd go with a kettlebell normally. Depending on, you know, your core ability, will depend on how much weight you'd actually want to use. So we're just going to stay to the one side for the moment and then we will swap and go to the other side. So we're leaning down to one side and standing back up. I'm trying to keep my spine quite neutral apart from that. So if I show you from this side, I'm not coming forward. I'm literally just tipping to the side. So we've got 20 seconds off. I'm going to swap sides now. So we're going to go for the other side. So what I'm essentially saying is when I'm bending, I'm only going like this to one side and I'm not using my body in any other way. I'm not coming forward or back or anything like that. So we're going 3, 2, 1, other side now. Your feet, positioning wise, are about, well, just on your hips essentially. So like I say, if you're finding that you're not feeling this too much, it might be that you want to increase your weight. You might want to, like I say, get a backpack. You can fill up a backpack with, you know, lots of clothes or some slightly heavier items that maybe just, you know, make sure they're not going to jostle around too much. You could hold the top of a backpack here and be doing your side bends with these. But like I said, ideally, if you've got some small weights at home that are a little bit lighter than a 400-gram tin of beans, that'd be great. Perfect, so that's those two done. Next, we're going to do a cross-body twist. Oh no, sorry, standing twist. So actually, you'll still need your weight. Your weight's going to go out in front of you, and we're just going to twist side to side whilst trying to keep the rest of our body quite still. So this is more core stabilisation than it is sort of core strength. Nice and slow. And again, you can use whatever weight you want. I'm trying to keep my hips forward and right up, twisting my body apart from this twist at the shoulders. Nice work. Also a little bit of upper body. Get a bit of extra in. And rest. Next we have cross body, knees to elbow. So essentially when we're on the floor and you see people doing bicycles, we can do the same thing but standing. So we're going to bring opposite knee to opposite elbow. So we're going to crunch our core to achieve that. We've got 5 seconds before we start. Hands to head, elbow to knee. And try and hold it for a second as well. Keep that crunch in place for a second rather than just coming up and releasing straight away. Hold that knee in place for a second. And as we're going opposite elbow to opposite knee, try and face sort of the direction that that elbow is pointing. If you struggle with the coordination and balance on this, you can always do one side first and hold on to something with the other hand. Brilliant, rest there. Next, we're going to go for a side crunch, which is very similar, but instead of coming across the body, we're going to go knees to elbow this way instead now to our side. So we've got 5 seconds before we start that. 3, 2, 1, go. So crunching up to the side. And again, try and hold it for a second or two. It's also going to need to use quite a lot of activation in your bum to keep that leg lifted and to keep yourself still on that standing leg. So we're twisting, crunching to the side this time. Bring that elbow down, touch that knee. 15 more seconds. Trying to stay nice and still on that leg. Try not to lean too much. Brilliant. Woo, balance. So rest there. We have then got wood choppers. So wood choppers, we're going to do one side first and then the other side. Again, you're going to need a bit of weight. So ideally dumbbell, kettlebell if you've got it, if not tiller beans, anything that you've got really. Essentially we're going to be going slight bend in our knees, coming down to touch one knee, and then we're going to swing up to the sky. And then you can bend your knees at the bottom again, swing up to the sky. And you can extend your knees at the top. Brilliant. So we're just staying to the one side, and then we'll swap. Throughout all these movements, it's focusing on keeping that core engaged, making sure we're actually using the muscles in our abdomen. 10 more seconds here. So we're mimicking a movement of someone chopping a bit of wood. Brilliant. We're going to go to the other side in a second. So it'll be exactly the same, a little bit of a bend in our knees, feet sort of just wider than hips. And then we're going to do the other side and swing to the other side. Again, this is one that you're going to feel more down the side of your core than sort of in the middle of it. Go. So this is, you know, movements that most people should be able to do, whether you're using a weight or not, whether you're using a very heavy weight or a very light weight, all very achievable movements. You know, it might be that you're sat at a desk all day and you just want to get up and have a little bit of a stretch off. You could potentially do some of these movements. Really good to build our core if you are sitting at a desk all day. Nearly there. Get that twist. And rest. So last movement is a standing toe touch. So this is the only one that you're going to need a little bit more space for. So my nearly Christmas trees. Feet are going to go wide, arms going to go wide. So a little bit like a starfish. And then we're going to touch opposite toe with opposite hand. So we're going to come diagonally, folding at the hips to touch your toe. Keeping that back nice and flat on the way down. Trying to keep your legs also as straight as possible. No real bend in the legs because we're also getting a little bit of activation then through the backs of our legs. This is also a good warm-up movement before you do any exercise. But we're having to use our core on the way down and the way up to make sure we're not just flopping like rag dolls and we're controlling this movement. So squeeze your core on the way down and the way up. And rest there. So we're going to have a minute off now, and then we're going to go back and do that 2 more times through. So make the most of this minute. I'm just going to keep my clock on. So we have a minute now. Grab a drink if you feel like you need it. Have a little bit of a stretch off, have a little wander around the room. We want to make sure that we're staying warm, especially this time of year where it's not quite as warm indoors. Like I say, it's a really good one that you don't need a lot of space for as well. And you don't actually get that sweaty, so I don't expect to get sweaty from this session. And I tend to sweat at most things. This is a really good one just for getting a little bit of core activation and building this strength here, which is essential for good back health as well. So a lot of people end up with bad backs, and a lot of the time it's because they don't have a particularly strong core. So if we can build this core up, it can normally reduce back pain. And some people, you know, completely find it helps a lot just from doing additional core work. So we're going to go round 2 in 5 seconds. Counting down now, starting with side bend. So grab your weight, hand at your head, and we're just leaning to one side, side that you're holding your weight. Nice work. Keep going, keeping the rest of your body nice and still, literally just bending to one side. You'll feel that stretch through the side that extends here, and you want to be contracting the muscles in that other side that is creasing. Keep going, using that weight to pull you down. Brilliant, rest there. We're going to go for the other side in a second. We've got 20 seconds of rest first before we go again. So now it's going to be the weight is in the other hand is going to be at the head, exactly the same that we've just done. 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1, go. So drop in as if you're trying to touch that weight to the floor before that stretch in your side stops you. Nice work. So you get core movements of varying difficulties. You know, you can get some really challenging core movements, but they tend to scare me even. So I'm sticking today to some ones that are good for building strength, but like I said, don't get you too sweaty, don't get you too fatigued, but still building really good strength and stability. And rest. Perfect. So after this, we've got those standing twists. The weight's going to come out in front and you're going to move from side to side. So it's going to be nice and controlled, and we're going to go in 10 seconds. So 5 seconds now. Grab that weight. 3, 2, 1. Side to side twists. Nice and controlled. Focusing on keeping that core nice and tight. So like I say, this one isn't so much core strength, but more core stabilisation. Trying to keep those hips facing forward. And as you reach to one side, you should feel it through one side of your core. And then when you go to the other side, you'll feel it in the opposite side. But like I say, more down the side, down in the middle of your core. Keep going. And rest. So after that, we have our cross-body knees to elbow, so you can put your weights down. Cross-body knees to elbow is going to be opposite elbow to opposite knee, coming across the body, and we're going in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, hands to head, and bringing that knee up to that opposite elbow and twisting to face the way that your elbow is sort of angling at. Remember to hold that knee at the top for a second if you can. It's not about being quick or getting loads of reps done. We want quality. Brilliant. Keep going. Keep squeezing that core at the top of your knee, at your elbow, squeezing the core there. And rest. Next we have our side crunches, so similar one where we're going to have our hands at our head. We're going to be bringing the knee up, but remember it's same elbow to same knee as in the side. So it'll be right knee to right elbow and left knee to left elbow. Ready to go. Go. 40 seconds here. Bringing that leg up as high as you can manage and bringing that elbow down to touch your knee. It might be that you can even get that elbow sort of behind your knee. We want to make sure that we're getting a really good tight crunch in our side. Keep going. Nice work. Nearly there now. And rest. So after this, we've got our wood chopper, so you're going to grab your weight again. I'll grab my tin of beans. We're going to have that slight bend in our knees. We're going to come from one knee, swinging that weight up. 3, 2, 1. Bending your knees, coming from the bottom down here to the opposite side at the top. Bit of a bend in your knees at the bottom, and you can extend your knees at the top. You can also pause at the top with that weight reaching for the sky. Nice work. You're going to stay on this one side 15 more seconds, and then we're going to swap. Nice, keep going. 3 seconds. And rest. We've got the other side now for the wood choppers. So the opposite of whatever side you just did. So I just did right knee, up to the left top. Now I'm going to go from left knee up to right top. Slight bend in those knees again. Brilliant. So down and up. Opposite knee. Not opposite knee, sorry. Just knee and then up diagonally. Chopping that wood. So it was swinging a potential axe. Getting that little bit of a core twist at the bottom, but also at the top. Keep going. Nice work. Rest there. We've got one more movement, which is those toe touches. We can go legs wide, arms long, making that starfish, coming down to touch toes. Then we're going to have another minute off, and then we've got a final round to get through. Brilliant work, everyone. Arms long, 3, 2, 1. Coming down to touch opposite toe. So you might want to go quite wide with your legs, especially as we're focusing on also keeping those legs straight. So you might find that you need to come a little bit wider. Depends on your proportions, really. But remembering, we're not just flopping like a rag doll, we are folding at the hips, nice and controlled, and then fighting gravity on the way up. And all of this is really good for utilising that core. And again, not really taxing maybe, but really beneficial anyway. And rest there. So that's 2 rounds. We've got one more round and then we will be done. So we're going to have a minute off now. Again, make sure you've got some water, grab a drink. We've got that one more round to do, so we've done the majority of it now, and then we will have a little stretch off at the end. But like I say, we've not taxed our full body today, so we haven't got too much to stretch off at the end. We'll just do a couple of core stretches. But otherwise, we're going to go in about 20 seconds for round 3. If you're finding these easy, again, you might want to look at trying to find a heavier weight now. So if you found those first 2 rounds were okay, then maybe find a heavier weight for when we're doing the side bends and also the wood choppers. So we're going to go 5 seconds now. 3, 2, 1, starting with side bends. Try and pick the same side to start on every time. So coming down, following the direction, the path of that weight with your upper half to the point that you can't stretch over anymore, and then using your core to bring you back up again. So if you do make this, if you do pick a heavier weight for this, that's when you're going to find it more challenging, because you're having to fight gravity to pull that weight back up, and all you're really using is your core. Because my arms aren't doing anything, they're just holding that weight in position. Rest there. We've got another set of that, but on the other side now, so swap the weight over. We're going to go in just over 10 seconds now, so plenty of rest between each one. Hand at the head again, leaning to one side. 3, 2, 1, go. Leaning to one side and up. Leaning to one side and up. Brilliant. Keep moving. Feeling that strength in the side as it's trying to stop your body toppling to the side, and also that strength in having to pull you back up against the weight that's trying to drag you down. Keep going. Nearly there now. And rest. So we've got those sort of stabilising standing twists next, where the weight's going out in front of you and we're going to twist side to side. Focusing on trying to keep those arms extended, keep the hips forward. All we're really moving is the upper body. And just trying to engage our abs essentially. Engaging that core to twist side to side. Nice. So you're not expected to go very far around at all. You'll have tightness in your back or even your shoulders that might stop you from twisting really far round. Again, you can make this heavier weight, and actually the heavier the weight is, the more core stabilisation you'll have to do, just to sort of keep yourself upright and stop that weight from dragging you forward. And rest. Good job. So we've got those cross-body knees to elbow next, where we're going to bring opposite elbow to opposite knee across our body nice and high, trying to squeeze at the top. We're going in about 5 seconds, hands to head, 2, 1, go. So opposite elbow to opposite knee, bring that up nice and high. So you could do these nice and fast, but actually find you get more core engagement when you go slow. Brilliant. It's a lot easier to go fast with these when you're lying down as well. When you're doing them standing, it's harder to keep your balance on one leg when you're trying to go really, really quick. Squeeze that core up. Keep going. And rest. 20 seconds off, and then we're going to go for those side to side ones instead. So it'll be same side elbow to same side knee, trying to get that nice tight squeeze each side. Going in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. So it'll be right elbow to right knee, nice and high now. Trying to keep your balance. You're going to find that one leg probably has better balance than the other one. I'm right-handed, and I tend to find that my right leg is more stable on the floor than my left leg. Trying to pause at the top in that crunch. Nice. Keep going. Nearly there. Whew. And rest. Even just hold my arms at my head, I can feel them getting fatigued. So then we have our wood choppers. So grab your weight. Going to start on that one side. Like I say, try and pick the same side you're starting on every time. Small bend in our knees. Coming down one knee and driving up to the opposite side. Swinging that fake axe. Engaging that core through this entire movement. Like I say, you can add weight to this. I used to do this in kettlebells classes. I'd always find I actually have to go quite light, probably around 4 kilos can be quite a good weight for doing a lot of core and upper body stuff. But again, it completely depends on your ability. Nice work, guys. Keep going. Then we're going to swap sides shortly. Brilliant. So we're going to go other side this time. So you still want to hold on to that weight, whatever you've got. We've got 15 seconds before we go to the other side. Remembering that little bit of a bend in our knees. 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. Little bit of bend in the knees. Down to one side, up to the other. Brilliant. Swing. Nice. Brilliant. So this is our penultimate movement. We can get through this and get into our next movement, and then we will be done. So remember to squeeze that core out. Remember what we are working. Nice. Keep going. 10 more seconds. And rest. And final movement. Standing toe touch. Arms wide. Watch out for walls, Christmas trees. Legs want to go sort of wide as well, so we're going to be that starfish shape. Then we're going to come down to touch opposite toe with opposite hand. Last movement. And go. So remember, legs trying to remain nice and straight. I just realised then my legs weren't wide enough apart, so I'm going to go a bit wider. Coming down, touching toe. Brilliant. Keep moving. Last movement now. Making sure we're still utilising that core, not just flopping over. And using that core to get us back up again as well. Really fantastic core stabilisation movements today. Nice work. And rest there. We are done. That is 3 rounds complete. So we're just going to have a quick stretch off of our core. Nothing too crazy. But basically, if we want to take our arms overhead, let me walk back so you can see a little bit. Arms overhead, and we're just going to reach for the sky. So you might want to go hands clasped over your head and push up towards the ceiling. And then we're just going to come down to the right. Hold there for a second. Up again. And then down to the left. Brilliant. And then we're just going to do some hip circles. But we want to go try and make it nice and big each time. Excuse my belly. And just driving that stomach forward, and then if you want to swirl around to the other side as well. Brilliant. We want to just do a side bend, but just really stretch it off. So allow yourself to feel that stretch through your side that we've used quite a lot today. And we're going to stretch the other side now. Brilliant. We're going to do the same again, but we're going to reach at the same time now. So coming down, but also reaching overhead and up, and same on the other side, reaching overhead. Brilliant. And if you want to just do some twists like we were doing earlier, almost just want to twist to one side and then twist to the other. And you can go off and do more core stretches if you want to. You know, all of that overhead stretching movement there is really good for stretching off. Or anything like looking up doing cats and cows, which I did in my previous video. Really good for stretching off that core as well, but that will take us onto the floor. So I'm going to leave it at that. So that is another 30 ways in 30 days video. It was my second core movement exercise video. So if you enjoyed that, please go back and find the other one I did that was all floor-based movement. So today was all standing, and the other one I did was all floor-based. So good variety of core movements to practice. Hopefully you feel like, you know, you're maybe not burning or sweating like you would do at a normal workout. Like I say, really good at building good core strength and stabilisation. Thank you for joining me again, and keep watching for more 30 ways in 30 days videos.